Welcome to What's Trending Podcast. We have a special guest today. Somebody I knew for a pretty long time. You know what I'm saying? For sure. He's a comedian, amongst other things. You know what I'm saying? Can you let the people know your name and where you're from?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Thurston Stevenson the first. And I'm from Bloomington, Illinois originally, but right now I live in Naperville, Illinois. I was born in Joliet. Just a little bit of a backstory on where I'm from and where I live now. Yeah, and I do stand-up comedy. So that's been pretty important in my life recently. That's something I look to do professionally, and been putting in a lot of work. Been getting a lot of shows recently. Producing my own shows out in Naperville, and looking to start producing some shows just wherever I can. So, me and my brother do a show in Bloomington every now and then called Hip Hop and Comedy. So that's also something that that we're kind of getting into.
For sure, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
I checked out your content, man, and you're definitely funny for sure, bro.
It.
No doubt, bro. Make sure you guys definitely get in tune with Thurston. Now, about your name, man, because I've been seeing, man, I did a little research, and I've been seeing people been mispronouncing, misspelling your name. Like, what's going on? How do you spell Thurston so that people can get it right?
It's spelled Thurston, and people have always misspelled my name ever since I was young, and so now it's something that I laugh at. I look at it as an opportunity to crack a joke or to be silly, but when I was a kid, people used to call me thirsty, and I'd be like, start crying, so that's how you spell my name. Yep, Thurston. Follow me on Instagram.
For sure. It's definitely a unique name. I don't think I've ever heard anybody by the name of Thurston before.
I've met people that say that they know somebody else named Thurston, but I've never met anybody else named Thurston. And I really don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Hey, it's only one Thurston, man.
That's right.
For sure. So, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Yeah, so I have two brothers. One's my twin brother, and then I have one sister. So, yeah, she's right after me, and then my youngest brother. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, when did you move from Joliet to Bloomington?
I was like one. So pretty early on, we moved to Bloomington. So, pretty much all I know is Bloomington. In a lot of ways, we would go to Joliet all the time because that's where my grandma still lives, and a lot of my all of my mom's siblings lived there for a very long time. So I'm familiar with both, but definitely more familiar with Bloomington.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, how was life in early childhood? Like, what type of kid were you?
Yeah. I would say I was pretty full of energy. I always tried to do the right thing, but that doesn't mean I always did the right thing. I would definitely, I remember a couple years ago, I was going through some of my mom's like old papers in this bin she had, and I found a slip that said I got in trouble. I was suspended from the bus for crawling under the seats and like pulling other kids' legs. So, always was full of energy, always trying to make people laugh. I remember I was always trying to tell jokes when I was a kid, especially like 8 and below. So like from like 5 to 8, I was really into jokes and making people laugh. And then I started taking Adderall, and that kind of killed the vibe for a while. But, I found my way back. So, but yeah, I would get into a little bit of trouble at times because I was kind of sneaky. So I would go out of my way to annoy people, but I'd do it on the sly so that the adults wouldn't see.
Right.
It was a little something about me.
For sure. So, what schools did you go to?
Yeah, so I went to Irving Elementary. Before that I went to Head Start, and then We went to Irving until about 2nd grade. And then we went to North Point Elementary and Normal. And then after that, we went to Parkside for 6th grade. And then I was homeschooled for 7th grade. Went back to Parkside, and then I graduated from Normal West High School in 2010. So I'm a little old.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Wildcats.
Wildcats,
man.
West Side.
For sure. So what type of student were you in high school?
In high school, I remember in 9th grade, I was in a English literature class, and I remember sitting in that class and being like, I'm gonna drop out because this is too much. I didn't drop out, but there's no way my mom would have allowed that to happen. But she would have beat me up. But anyway, I love my mom. She didn't beat me. But yeah. So I say that story to say that in high school I didn't care about any of my classes except for personal development. I took personal development. I got pretty swole in swole for a skinny guy in high school. Yeah, I did not care about my grades at all. I almost didn't graduate my senior year because there was like an economics class. Does that beat me in anything?
No.
Okay, my bad. There was an economics class that they wanted me to, they made it a requirement my senior year, and then they put me in my last semester of senior year, which is like, what was my guidance counselor thinking, or whoever's in charge of that? But anyway, I say that to say I shed a few tears to my teacher, and she let me make up some of my work. I still had to do all the work. She let me make it up, and I passed that class with a D. And I was able to graduate. So, but yeah, I did not care about high school, like the grades, and I was pretty lame in high school, honestly, which is, it is what it is. I was cool at youth group though.
Shout out youth group.
Yeah, so I didn't care about school until I went to community college immediately after graduating from high school. I failed all my classes, so I had to retake them, and I lost my financial aid. And after that is when I was like, okay, I care about school.
Right.
But before that, I thought it was dumb, and I wasn't planning on going to college. I was like, I'm just gonna become a Marine.
Oh man.
Dumb.
Well, hey man, look at you now. You know what I'm saying? On the road to success, man. I'm glad you didn't quit, man. You know what I'm saying? And didn't give up, because, like you say, school is kind of important. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go to college, that's cool. College isn't for everybody. School isn't for everybody. You don't have to go to college to start a business and do certain things. Like even you're a comedian basically. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you do comedy. You don't really have to go to college to do that. It helps, you know what I'm saying? It helps for sure.
I actually got my degree in comedy writing and performance at Columbia College Chicago, which was super dope. It was really fun. I didn't know that was a thing until I was like 27. That's when I applied to go to school there. So yeah, but like you said, you don't need college per se, but if you wanna get ahead in life, get a trade, I think college is important for those of you watching. So, yeah. For sure.
Besides school, we got that out the way. Mm-hmm. As far as comedy, what kind of led you to become a comedian?
Yeah, so that's a great question. What led me to become a comedian? So like I said, when I was a kid, I was always trying to make people laugh and be silly and things like that. And I I kind of, somewhere along the way, I'm not too sure what happened, and I'll have to dig into that sometime on my own. But I kind of lost that. And I still like making people laugh, but I didn't think anything of it. And then when I was like 20, 21, I remembered that I used to like telling jokes and making people laugh. And then I forgot again. And then I went to Army basic training. I joined the National Guard. And after I came back from that, I was working at Illinois State University. And I saw a group. There was a BSU, Black Student Union there. And I saw a group of the BSU students going somewhere. So I just got off work and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna follow the crowd. I don't usually suggest people do that, but I followed the crowd and they went upstairs and there was this huge room and there was loud music and you know the energy in the room was electric and I was like, what is going on in here? And somebody was like, oh, it's an open mic. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, it's an open mic. And I said, what does that mean? And they said, you just get on the stage and do whatever you want. And I was like, what? I did not know that was a thing. And I just felt this like pull, like I needed to get on the stage. And I was like, I already missed the sign up. And I was like, man, the next time they have one of these, I need to know. But then as I was driving home, I was like, what could I do on the stage? And I had no idea what to do. And then it just kind of clicked. I was like, I could make people laugh, tell jokes. So the next time they had one, I went up there. I told a couple, like, it was like lame. I told a couple knock jokes and a couple of like stories that I heard that, you know, just the typical type of jokes that you hear, like, and it went well. And I was like, no way, that's dope. So I waited for the next one. I went back to the next one. And then I started telling people, yeah, I do comedy. So they're like, oh, what? We want to come see you. So I was like, oh man, what did I just do? So that's when so it was like November of 2015. That's the first time that I actually wrote some jokes myself. And the next time there was an open mic, I went up there and I mean, it was a packed out room in the Bowling and Billiards Center on ISU's campus. And I invited all my friends that I knew at the time, and they came out, and I did my 5 minutes, and I don't remember how well it went, but it went well enough that the people that were there were telling me good job and this and that. And after that, I was telling people about it, and this guy goes, you know what? Now you got to go to Second City. And I was like, what's Second City? He's like, you don't know Second City? I was like, I have no idea what that is. And Second City is where a lot of famous comedians have come from. Steve Carell, Tina Fey, what's the guy? Key and Peele. Keegan Michael Key went there. And so I looked it up and I started taking improv classes in Chicago. I took a stand-up class at the Second City in Chicago. I auditioned for a coached ensemble at Second City in Chicago, and I got into that. And so that's really like 2015, 16 is really when I just kind of dived head first into it. It was expensive going back and forth to Chicago for a couple months. So like 2017, 2018, I didn't do a whole lot of comedy. But 2019, end of 2019, I got to jump back in. That's when I started going. That's when I moved to Joliet to go to school in Chicago. And then the pandemic hit. And anyway, and I moved to Chicago. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started. It was just kind of a sense that like, I need to be on the stage. And I went for it. And here I am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what would you describe yourself as? Like, what type of comedian are you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I would have to say that I'm still figuring that out. Because right now I'm mostly, not even mostly, I only do clean comedy. And I know that a lot of people, when they see comedy, they think of roast, they think of making fun of people and this and that. And I do think that's funny, but that's never been who I am as a person. I'm probably the worst roaster in the world. I've never been able to make fun of people as hard as I've tried, as bad as I've wanted to.
Right.
And so it's like, that's not who I am, so why would I try to be that person? And so, yeah, I think that I'm still figuring out, because I do love, as a kid, I always loved Martin Luther King Jr. and the work that he did, and just always loved the civil rights movement. And so, a little bit, I want to be a little political, but I'm not super political as a person to begin with. I'm a Christian, and so that's the most important part of my life. So I would love to talk about God in different ways in my, comedy. But I don't want that to be like, I don't want to be like a Christian comedian, but I do want to talk about God, and then I love to just be like silly, like just talk about goofy things, right? So it's like, how do you talk about politics, God, and be goofy all in one? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm still figuring it out. I have about 20 solid minutes of comedy right now that like, I probably have like 30, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a solid 30. But anyway, so, I'm still figuring that out. I think by the time I get to an hour worth of like consecutive hour worth of comedy, I'll probably have found my voice by then and kind of be able to answer that question better. But yeah, right now I'm still just kind of figuring it out.
Yes, sir.
So
most definitely. Besides being a comedian, I want to get into a little bit of your background, because I went to school with you for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think my first year at Normal West, a
Yeah.
freshman, you were a junior or senior, but I noticed a lot of the clothes you and your family wear, you wear a lot of cool, dope clothes, man, as far as like African clothes and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So can you give the people a little bit of your background as far as family background, as far as the culture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So growing up, I remember specifically because like I said, we went to North Point, and so at that school we were like a few of the only black kids at the school, and so that was really hard for us. And we weren't always, I wouldn't go as far as we were mistreated, but we weren't always treated fairly. And so early on, our mom was always super like intentional. Yeah, our mom was always super intentional about teaching us who we are, teaching us about, black culture, which for me is really important, but it also was hard for me because, obviously a lot of people don't know super far back their family history, but when you look at our history as, black people, African Americans, ADOS, whatever you want to call it, it goes back to slavery. And so for me, that was really hard because, just knowing what they went through, how they were treated, and even just the way that black people have been treated throughout since the end of slavery has always been kind of hard on me. And so, I really am appreciative to my mom for, she would get us the dashikis, and because my dad worked with this lady that was, she was from Nigeria, so she would go there, and when she came back, she would bring stuff to, give to people. And our dad asked her to bring us some dashikis, and so that was really cool that we got the opportunity to wear those to a mostly like pretty much all white school, and we got these dashikis on, and people are asking us because they were kind of long on us, so people were asking us all these silly questions, and so Yeah, that's kind of the history or the backstory is like our mom has just always been super intentional, like teaching us about different, you know, political figures in the civil rights movement that were African American, and she showed us Roots when we were like in 8th grade, and that was something. You know, we watched the whole series in like 3 days or something like that, and so now it's like you mad at white people because you see the way they was beating on them, and you know. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
It definitely does, bro.
Yeah.
And shout out to your parents, bro, because they were basically teaching you what they weren't teaching you in school. You know what I'm saying? And that's important. Speaking of family, you recently got married.
That's I did, yeah.
For sure, man. How's the married life treating you?
Yeah,
man?
So I got married in November, so that was it was such a wonderful day. It couldn't have been any better. So far, so great. You know, it's not without its rough moments. I wouldn't even say days, but just like sometimes, you know, we never lived together before we got married, so now we're really figuring out a lot of things, and we bump heads sometimes. You know, she doesn't always like the way I fold stuff, and you know, silly
the little things.
Seriously, the little things, silly things like that. And so, but you know, we're just working on communicating and being kind to each other. You know, that I don't even remember what happened earlier, but she was like, you know, that hurt my feelings, and so I had to be like, you know, I'm sorry. And just really learning. The biggest thing for me is like communication is what I'm learning, but also sometimes like you said, it's the little things. Sometimes she'll do something, I'll get really frustrated or like mad, and I have to like check myself, like, bro, chill, why are you so mad, you know? So yeah, I love it. I love being married, love her, hey baby, you know. Yeah, so.
And I've been watching for quite some time on Facebook, man. I've been kind of watching your journey, man. Not only a comedian, but a teacher.
Yeah.
And not only that, you were in a whole nother country teaching. Is that where you met your wife at?
So actually, crazy story. I'll answer where I met her, and then I'll go back to the other country.
Okay.
We met on a dating app called Hinge. I was activated with the Army National Guard. I was actually in Southern Illinois, and she was in Columbia on the app, but she said she was in Naperville, and I said I was in Chicago, even though I was in Southern Illinois. And I actually swiped against her, but then like a couple days later, she swiped on me.
Oh.
Yeah. So, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
She swiped on me, and I was like, huh.
God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I was like, huh. I just was looking at her profile the other day, so I accepted, and we got to talking, and the biggest thing for us was, you know, our relationship, my relationship with God and her relationship with God, and then communication. So to make a long story short, we dated long distance for a year. She was in Columbia, I was finishing up school, and then when I finished up school, we actually were like, let's get married, but a lot of her friends and family were like, well, you guys haven't really like known, you guys have been dating long distance, so you should live like close together first.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I get that. And we were like, how's that gonna happen? Because she doesn't want to leave Columbia yet, and I'm trying to do my comedy, and an opportunity opened where they needed a drama teacher over there, and so
Over where?
In Colombia.
Okay, now
Yeah,
when you say Colombia,
Yeah.
I want the people to understand. I don't think you're talking about the United States.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Missouri
or
South Carolina.
Yeah, you're not talking about South Carolina. You're talking about the country in South America.
Yes, I was in Bogota, Colombia. Bogota is the capital of Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I say we did long distance, I'm talking like 3,000 miles long distance.
It hit different.
Got to get in a plane and fly 8 hours long distance. So I finished up my time in the National Guard, and it's funny how it all works out. So I graduated from school. I got out of the National Guard a month later, and then I moved to Colombia. It's kind of crazy.
So you moved to a whole nother country. How was it that experience in a whole nother country where they speak a whole different language?
Yeah, they speak Spanish. So I was, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. So it was kind of surreal. Like it kind of didn't feel like it was really happening a lot of the times. Like, I'll randomly think back to walking the streets of Colombia, looking at the mountains. The mountains are beautiful, but honestly, for me, it was just a really big step of faith. It was a leap of faith. I saw it as an opportunity to serve God, but also to get to know this woman that I was dating. And, we always said, like, I'm not dating just to date, like we're dating for marriage. And so it was a really cool experience. Like I said, I got to serve God. I got to be with my girlfriend at the time. And then I also got to teach. I got to meet people from a completely different culture that were some of the most loving, kind, thoughtful people that I've ever met. And they got to have just as big of an impact on me as I got to have on them. And it's been really hard. I was only there for a year, but you see people every day and then you don't see them anymore. That's hard, and so me and my wife were just talking about how we were like, man, we got to go back. We got to go say hi to everybody. Honestly, on the way here, I was just thinking, man, I gotta go see those kids before they graduate, and so, it was a life-changing experience for sure. And for me, it just really showed, like, the world is so big, like, you drive through Illinois and it could take like 6 or 7 hours to get through Illinois, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of people that live in the state. But then you're driving through the countryside of Colombia, and it's crazy because the countryside of Colombia is mountains. So you're driving through mountains, and I'm like, I thought we were in the country. And they were like, we are in the country. And I'm like,
oh, man.
But the country to me is cornfields. You know what I'm saying? So it was, and then you look out, and it's just waves of mountains. And you see little towns, or as they say in Colombia, pueblos.
Oh,
that means towns in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's dope, bro. For sure.
I be messing around with my Spanish. Entonces, I'm just kidding. Let me stop.
What does that mean?
It means so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you dropping jewels, man.
A little bit, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What grade did you teach?
So I got the opportunity to teach 7th through 12th grade.
That's dope.
Yeah, and then I was a substitute teacher, so I was working with pre-K all the way through 12th grade because it was a school that had pre-K through 12th. So I got to work with a little bit of everybody. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's dope, bro, for sure, man. So I got one more question about that. So how are you teaching a class that didn't speak English?
That's a great question.
And on top of that, I want the people to check out your videos and your TikToks of when you were down, to go back and look at his old videos too, because you got a lot of dope skits and stuff like that with those kids
I appreciate
on
that.
there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're hilarious. So y'all make sure y'all go check out his content for sure. But yeah, how did that work? You're in a whole other country. You're teaching kids that don't even speak. Well, I don't know if they speak English. Some of them probably do. But how did that work? Did you have a translator or something?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I didn't explain that, and I kind of forget to explain this part. But so I was working at a private Christian school over there, and the school's mission is to teach the kids to love God for one, but secondly to know English. And so all the kids at the school speak English because they start learning English at like 5 years old at the school, and then they work their way all the way through. So when they graduate, they get a diploma, a U.S. diploma and a Colombian diploma for like high school. So all of the students speak English because they've been, going to the school. A lot of them been going to the school since they were in kindergarten or pre-K. So it's and a lot of people in Colombia don't speak English, but a lot of people do speak English too. Right. And so, but of course they're more comfortable speaking. Not all the people, but some of the people are more comfortable speaking Spanish because it's their first language, right?
Right.
If I knew Spanish and I was talking to somebody that knew English too, I'd probably speak to them in English because that's my first language. And so I was just super I was envious of the students in a lot of ways because I was like, bro, you speak 2 languages. Right. That's so cool, and I speak one, and I don't always speak it the best, Right. But so anybody that speaks multiple language, anybody that's language isn't first language isn't English, we gotta respect them more, bro. Because people just are, and by people I'm talking about a lot of North Americans. We can be kind of rude to people that speak more than one language. A lot of North Americans only speak one language, and they be making fun of people because they got an accent or something. But I don't want to generalize everybody, but I just see it happen, and it's really sad because I think that everybody in this country should know Spanish. I think it should be a requirement at schools to learn Spanish. But then you got to hire Spanish teachers, which is a good thing to do. But anyway, so yeah.
Well, I think that's dope because I think you hit it on the head, bro, as far as teaching Spanish, because I don't know whether people realize it or not, but pretty soon there's going to be more Mexicans than any other race in the United States. So, it's probably pretty intelligent to learn how to speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it's going to get to the point where they're not really going to have a choice but to teach it, because there's going to be more Mexicans over here than anybody. So that means that's going to be a dominant language in so many words to it. That's what they speak. But English, of course, is going to be a language that you want to know too, that people are going to still use. But you're right. You want to know more than one language. In Spanish, that's probably definitely an important language to learn. Especially going down south. I was just in Florida, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, there was probably more, I'm not gonna say just Mexicans, but people from different islands, all parts of the world down there speaking all type of languages, and sometimes you didn't understand what they say, so they had to show you on the phone what they're saying.
Oh yeah, the Google Translate or whatever, Apple Translate, yeah.
So I can see it down south a little more, closer to the borders and the coastlines, and it's slowly, you can see them migrating up here. So yeah, man, definitely might want to think about learning a little Spanish for sure.
Yeah. But
you said you were in the Army.
Yeah.
How was that like?
Yeah, I was in the Army National Guard for 8 years. It was fun. It was it's it's kind of one of those love-hate relationship type things. I met some of the closest, like a lot of the guys I met. A couple of them were at my wedding, and I was in their weddings, and we've only known each other for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, and so you build some really strong relationships, and part of the reason that I joined was I would always, as a kid, hear my uncles telling their stories about when they were, because they were also, I think they were reserves, but they were in the Army, telling stories, and just the pride for me, like, to serve my country, regardless of what anybody thinks about this country. I still love my country. I want to see it get better. I want to see it progress. And part of the way that you help something to progress, if you see something you don't like, you do something about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they see something they don't like and they just are like, we got to change that. And then they don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you people look at the biggest thing at hand, and they're like, what can I do? You can do your part. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I did my part while I was serving, and I'm not done, as far as my part to help to make this country better, and the little way that I can. Everybody does their little part. We get the big piece done. But anyway, I really, the military helped me to pay for school, and I got the opportunity to go overseas once. It wasn't for super long, but I went to South Korea for a little bit, and got activated a couple times. So I helped distribute some of the COVID vaccines. I helped on a mission with it. I wasn't giving people the shots. I'm not a nurse, and then probably the hardest thing I had to do while I was in the National Guard was during 2020, when everybody was, up in arms, and rightfully so in a lot of ways. There was a lot of riots and protests, and so I had to suit up, for lack of a better word, and I just got done leading a peaceful protest, and then I got a call, hey, we need you to come. We're going up north to help with some protests. And so that was really hard for me, because I seen videos of black dudes in the Army National Guard. They were getting stuff thrown at them. They were getting called all types of names, and I was like, bro, that's not me, And so I was really worried that was going to happen to me, that I was going to end up on, Facebook or Instagram on a reel, people hurling things at me, calling me different types of names. When it's like, bro, I was just 2 days ago, I was just leading a march. I was just leading a protest. I was just having conversations with the chief of police, things like that. And so my heart really went out to the other people, black people that were in the National Guard that were getting, mistreated and talked about crazy because they chose to serve their country, and, we all have our different inclinations, and I don't think it's anything wrong. I think more black people should be in the military,
yes,
and we'll see more change. But, if we're not willing to put ourselves out there and to change and to, what fill in the blank, is we're not going to see anything different. And so, that's kind of in a nutshell my military experience. There were times I hated it, times I loved it, but I never got shot, never shot anybody. People always love to ask that. So, I don't know if you were going to, but
no. And I'm glad you didn't have to go through that, man.
Yeah, me too.
I definitely appreciate you for your service, bro. That's
you.
definitely dope, man. Yeah, man. I couldn't imagine going through that. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for your country and whole time the people you're fighting for are mistreating you. So you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But besides that, man, I want the people to know how to get in tune with you. As far as, do you have a YouTube channel? Can you shout your YouTube channel out, your TikTok, all your social media, Facebook, so they can get in tune with you and watch your content?
Absolutely, yeah. So my YouTube has been popping off a little bit. You can follow my YouTube. It's Thurston Hysterical. Thurston the Hysterical. My Instagram is Thurston X. So that's THURSTONX. And then you can follow me on TikTok at Thurston Stevenson. That's pretty much it. If you follow me on when you follow me on Instagram, you can see all my shows whenever I'm having a show. And maybe I'll be having a show in your area. I'm looking to, by the end of the summer, I'm trying to start definitely traveling more. So, I'm going to Iowa a little bit, doing some shows. I'm going to different parts of Illinois. And so, the goal is by this time next year to be, venturing out to all of the Midwest states and, doing some shows there and things like that. So
basically, if they type Thurston in on YouTube, you'll pop up?
If you type my name in on Google, I'm pretty much the first one to pop up, because there is somebody called, I think his name is Michael Thurston. I think he's like a weightlifter. So he pops up first on YouTube. But if you type my name in on Google, all of my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pop up. So
that's dope. So your YouTube is Thurston Stevenson?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you type in the whole name, you'll pop up for sure.
Yes.
For sure. And that's the same for Facebook and all of that too.
Yeah.
For sure, man. So you guys, make sure you get in tune with Thurston, man. He's a dope dude, man. He makes a lot of dope content, man, for sure. So definitely tune in to him, man, for sure. But this is What's Trending Podcast, and we got to talk about what's trending, things that are going on right now.
Absolutely.
And there's kind of a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
So I want your perspective on things. Donald Trump is running for president. How do you feel about that?
It's a good question. Honestly, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to say this, and I'm actually gonna my bad to do this. I'm gonna voice record it on my phone, this part, because honestly, I'm really disappointed in this country right now. And I know that can seem kind of strong to say, but, I'm frustrated that we've put ourselves in this position again. Because if you look back to the last election, we were talking about how we can't do this again and, choose the lesser of two evils. And it's like, when did it become okay to choose evil at all? If we're talking about the lesser of two, why don't we just get better candidates? You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of other people that were more qualified to run for president, and nobody supported them enough that they could get to the place where we wouldn't be in this position again, because everybody's saying, people are too worried about this or that. But it's like, and I feel like politics isn't about us anymore.
Right.
Politics is not about the people. Politics is not about the wellness of this country anymore. It's about Republican or Democrat. Who can be better? You know what I'm saying? And like, I just feel like it's about their agenda, and I don't really know what their agendas are. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. I think that we as a country, we as a people, we need to educate ourselves more on local government, for one, and what that looks like. And then we need to start raising up and training the next generation to want to go out and be politicians. You know what I'm saying? Like in Baltimore right now, they have I think their mayor is 31 years old. That's awesome. Why don't we have more 31-year-old mayors? Why don't we have more 35, 40-year-old people running for president instead of people almost twice that? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I'm not too happy that we're in this position again, and I think that, I hate to say it, I think we should be ashamed of ourselves that we're back here.
Yeah,
back in this spot.
It gets greater later, but I want the people to know too that the Republican and Democrat Party aren't the only parties. There's actually independent parties, and John F. Kennedy's nephew was actually a candidate for the independent party, and he has a lot of dope ideas. So definitely do your research on other parties and other candidates, because there's other parties such as independent parties and stuff like that. But I think that's dope that you, and I think you hit it on the head when you said we need more black politicians, more black people in the army, we need more black judges, more black police officers, all of that. That's the only way things are pretty much going to change. You know what I'm saying? More black owned businesses, everything across the board, you know. But that's definitely dope how you broke it down, bro, for sure. So I got to ask you, are you voting for Trump?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I've been struggling with if I want to vote, and I know that that's like, why would I even say that? But you know, a lot of people, you know, last time I definitely did vote independent, and
That's dope.
When I told somebody that, I mean, when they heard that, they just went in on me. You wasted your vote.
Oh,
You're
wow.
not helping like the situation, like this and that. And so like for me, that was, I think we need to kind of get away from, and like this is cool, but just random people asking you, did you vote? Who'd you vote for? Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's not your business. You know what I'm saying? And it used to be kind of a time where that was a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
You know? And a little bit less charged of a question.
Yeah.
But now when people ask that, like, you could get attacked physically, emotionally, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody, I look at it like everybody has an opinion at the end of the day. And my thing is, I want everybody to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, vote for who you want to vote for. Only thing I would recommend is do a little research.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
For sure. But outside of the politics, I want to ask you this question. Personally, I want to know how you feel about this.
Mm-hmm.
3 black people are getting killed every day by the police. Civilian homicides are on the decrease, but police violence is drastically increasing. So we're killing each other less, but the police are killing us more. 3 people getting killed by the police every day, that's kind of a lot. Just one person getting killed by the police is a lot, you know, and it's probably more than that. That's just what they're reporting. How do you feel about 3 people getting killed every day by the police?
I think it's really sad, and I think that, you know, part of the answer to that is, like I said, as far as voting, like, local? The local elections, excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, part of that is the local elections, right? We gotta look and do research and to voting for the police chief and voting for the different, you know, fill in the blanks when they're doing all these different laws and things like that in our areas. We gotta know what they're doing and why they're doing it, and then that'll help to like hold some of these people accountable. And then, like you were saying, we get more black judges, we get more black, you know, fill in the blank. It'll help some of the situation, but I mean, honestly, it's disgusting, it's sad, and you know, I hate that anybody gets killed ever, but especially for somebody that's supposed to be protecting, to do it to somebody is terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is black people are getting killed 2.6 more times than white people. So, You know, at the end of the day, I feel like things are getting a little better, but in some ways things are getting worse too, because it's like black people are still getting targeted, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, people should be getting treated equal, you know, at the end of the day. But I feel like it gets greater later, and like you say, we need more black police officers and stuff like that. Not to say it's a color thing, because it comes down to the person you are, the human being you are. You know what I'm saying? But we do need more black police officers and black judges for sure. And like you say, fill in the blank, basically. You know, a lot of things. You know, you don't have to just be a rapper or play sports or whatever. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you want to be. Just put the work in.
Engineer.
Yeah, that's what God put us on earth to do, man or woman, put in work. You know what I'm saying? And you have a wife, so I'm pretty sure she's helping you put in the work. You know, so that's dope. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Absolutely. For sure. So, are you familiar with sports?
Not really. I want to get more into sports, but not super familiar.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm not gonna touch on that too much. The Bears got rid of Justin Fields. I'm kind of fake sick about that. March Madness is going on right now. Illinois is playing Connecticut as we speak, so keep you posted. Obviously, this is what's trending, so we talk about things that's trending every day. So whatever's trending that day, that's what we're going to be talking about. So hopefully Illinois comes back and wins. You know, go Illini, man, for sure. Are you familiar with what's going on in the Middle East right now?
As far as the Israel-Gaza?
Yes. Last year, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with it, and you're familiar. Hamas invaded Israel and killed over 1,200 civilians. Israel retaliated, and they killed over 30,000 people in the Gaza Strip. That's a lot of people. That's basically a genocide going on in the Middle East. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, not like I said, but it's really sad. I think that it's crazy to see how the U.S. is responding in a lot of ways. And honestly, I'm a love guy. I'm a peace guy. I just want everybody to, you know, it's such a, I don't know, it's such a crazy conflict, and I just hope that it cannot be politicized, and what needs to happen so that people aren't getting hurt, people aren't getting killed anymore, can happen so that it can stop, you know. And the sad thing is, you know, stuff like this is just gonna keep happening in different parts of the world, not necessarily there, but you know, it's just really sad that it's kind of we live in a fallen world and a broken world, and people are gonna hurt each other, and big groups of people are gonna hurt each other, and it's sad and it's devastating, and we all need to do what we can to help stop it, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so and the best way for it to stop is for Jesus to return. But anyway, we won't go there.
So yeah, it's definitely messed up what's going on over there. And I'm not gonna lie, even in the Ukraine and what's going on with Russia, that's a whole nother situation. But I feel like they promoted that more than what's going on in the Middle East, and I think that's a little messed up. But to be honest, they, like Tupac said it in a song, he said they got money for war but can't feed the poor. You know, you got money, taxpayers' money to send to all these people in the whole other country, but you got homeless people, and you got people over here hungry, and you got police killing people left and right, and a lot of messed up things going over here too. So I feel like we need to fix what's going on over here too. You know what I'm saying? First, that's just like anything. It starts in your home. You know what I'm saying? If things aren't right at home, things aren't going to be right anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we have there's a crisis right now. A lot of kids can't even read. And, you know, we should be putting the money into that instead of supporting wars and funding wars
that don't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah, so it's really sad that, you know, that's the thing. I say, put those trillions of dollars into this country to
right.
help the kids. It's not even about. I don't care about the infrastructures. I care about the kids that need to learn how to read. The kids that don't have any food to eat. That's what I want to see.
And I want to see more people happy too, man, because in America there's a lot of people depressed and sad and have a lot of mental illnesses and stuff like that. But when you go to third world countries, you see a lot of those people grateful for the smaller things, like even just waking up or having a meal, and they're happy with the little things. So I feel like if people are more grateful in America, things would be better too. You know what I'm saying? If people are a little more happy, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So that definitely helps just to be happy, because you want to be happy before you pretty much do anything. And that's another reason why I always say third world countries are leading the way. You know, Africa's leading the way, Mexico's leading the way, but we're not going to get too deep into that. But I just want people to really just work on just being happy for sure. But besides all of that, I'm pretty sure you heard the news about what's going on with P. Diddy. 2 of his homes were raided. I think his home in Los Angeles and Miami or something. I don't know. I know he had some homes that were raided by, I think, Homeland or something. His sons were put in handcuffs. I don't know if they had anything. I don't think they had anything to do with it, whatever, but I don't know. But they were even put in handcuffs.
Oh, wow.
They're accusing him of some pretty crazy stuff, man. How do you feel about the whole thing going on with P. Diddy and these allegations of basically he was sex trafficking and using a ex-Syracuse basketball player as a drug mule and all of these crazy allegations? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I think it's kind of wild. I don't really, you know, whenever I see stuff like with celebrities, I kind of always am just like, we don't really know what's going on. But,
yeah.
You know, this seems a little damning. You know, usually they don't raid your house unless they have built up some evidence. You
Yes,
know what
sir.
I'm saying? So, you know, so it's really sad to see, because, you know, why do we, you know, as humans, we get to a certain place in life, and then we always want more, you know. And so, you know, I don't want to speak too much into it because I don't really know, but I just think that it's sad that if it is true, it's disgusting, and it's really sad that he got to that place and was, you know, doing that to those people. And, you know, if it is true, this might be controversial. I hope they catch him. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. No doubt. Would you go to a P. Diddy party? Because I heard a lot about his parties. I don't know if you heard about his party. If P. Diddy invited you to a party, would you go to one?
You know, honestly, I haven't really heard anything about a P. Diddy party, but based off of the allegations, I would say absolutely not.
Right. For sure. Hey,
I'm going to stay far away. I'm not even going to
sure.
shake the man's hand. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you when you're right, bro. For sure. I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with Dan Snyder. I think he was a producer and a writer on the Nickelodeon, and he produced Good Burger, Zoe 101, Amanda Show, iCarly, a lot of shows I know I grew up watching. You probably grew up watching. A lot of people grew up watching these shows.
Yeah.
They're basically accusing him of a lot of messed up stuff, like being unprofessional and inappropriate behavior towards kids, you know, abusing kids and stuff like that. And, I don't know if you're familiar with the show Drake and Josh, but I know Drake was one of the people that were abused. How do you feel about Dan Snyder and other people on the show abusing kids?
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised from what I've seen. I'm surprised that he's not in jail, or at least going to court, being questioned more. I think that there should, not that it's about comparing, but I think that there should be just as much outrage and uproarious behavior as for what P. Diddy as there is for this guy.
Yes,
I mean, granted, P. Diddy is a lot more famous than this dude, but the point remains that, they need to, I hope that they are really digging deep and figuring out the truth. Don't just talk about removing the inappropriate scenes. Talk to these kids, well, they're adults now. Talk to them. Get this man behind bars if necessary.
Yes,
because honestly, it's disgusting. It's unacceptable. And so, yeah, it breaks my heart to hear and to see, because when I was a kid, Nickelodeon was my favorite channel growing up, and so, I love watching all that, and the Amanda Show obviously was absolutely hilarious. I wasn't really into Drake and Josh, but the point remains that that was a big part of my childhood, and so to know and to see that there was a lot of this happening to them is disgusting, it's despicable, and it should be taken very seriously. And I know that a lot of people online are taking it seriously, but I just hope that the proper authorities and whoever actually has the power to do something takes it seriously. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure. And it's messed up, man, and I'm pretty sure like you kind of got it figured out a little bit too, as far as like even in the comedy industry or whatever you're in, or a regular job, whatever you're doing. It's messed up to say, but the P. Diddy's, Dan Snyder's, all of that, man, the Donald Trumps and all of that, it's sad to say, but a lot of times, sometimes you gotta work with people like that to get to where you need to be. You don't condone what they're doing, but you do. They're not the only ones. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more of them that just haven't got caught, so it's sad to say, like, but these is the type of people that, live in this world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect. I'm not belittling anybody or none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with that type of stuff, especially when it comes to abusing kids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's basically what both of them are, being accused of in so many words. But, it's just messed up, man. You gotta be around these people and work with these type of people to get to where you need to be. And I know I always tell everybody, man, go get a Donald Trump book. As far as go purchase a Donald Trump book, as far as and learn something as far as business wise. Mm-hmm. I don't condone what he does politically and a lot of other bull crap he does, but business wise, you can learn something from him. So I recommend you too going and buying a Donald Trump book and just open it and read it, and you might learn something. Yeah. Because the level on the stuff that you got, I always tell people do research. The stuff that you look at on the internet, that's surface level information. You have to read books and get a little more knowledge than just the internet. Because anybody could get on Google and type something in, but when you're hitting them books, it is different. You know what they say? If you want to hide something from a nigga, what do? You put it in a book. Because what did you just say?
Never heard that.
Well, what did you just say before? A lot of people can't read. Yeah. So they know this. So they put these things in books because they know a lot of black people. I'm not going to say a lot of black people. I'm not going to say it like that, because you got a lot of black people that can read excellent. But they know that if you want to hide something, 9 times out of 10, put it in a book, because they're not going to look in a book. So there's a lot of information in these books. So definitely go, you know what I'm saying, do some research and read some books and stuff too. And I need to practice what I preach as far as that too. Go to the library or something, read some books. But do you have any shows before we wrap up? Do you have any shows on the way? And I know you and your brother Dominique, V8 Vast Change. I want to get him on the show too. You guys actually performed together, kind of. You said comedy and hip hop show.
Yeah, hip hop and comedy. Yeah.
So that's dope that you guys perform together. You know, you're a comedian, he's a music artist. That's dope that you guys can collab and come together. And I actually heard one of your songs, man. I think people need to check it out, man. The hit single, man. Thurston, You're So Cool. I think you guys really need to go check that out. You need to get back in the studio, man, and make some more hits, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's funny you say that because I've actually been, I'm trying to give myself some deadlines. I want to write a couple more songs for sure. I just wrote a new song last August. This, you know, it's getting a little bit of traction at my shows and things. But you know, I have a show I'm producing in Naperville, April 13th, which is a Saturday coming up, and then that following Saturday in Chicago, I'm doing a show. In Chicago, and then in May I'm taking my black butt to Iowa to do a show, and so yeah, that's kind of all I have right now. January and February were pretty lucrative, but you know, I know it'll pick up. Right now I'm in the process of, like I said, I got about 20 minutes that's pretty good, but I'm working on a new 10 that's dealing a lot with my faith walk and just kind of 2020 and to now, and meeting my wife and this and that. So yeah, you know, that's that for now.
For sure, man. Well, it definitely gets greater later, bro. For sure, man.
Absolutely.
Can you shout your YouTube channel out and your information and social media out one more time so that people can get in tune with you and check you out?
Yeah, right on. So follow me on all social media and YouTube at Thurston Stevenson. That's ThurstonStevenson. And yeah, just give me a shout out, give me a like and a follow. Follow me on YouTube. Like I said, I'm putting out some shorts and starting to get some traction there. So I appreciate any support I can get in that. And yeah, if you think something's funny, share it, like it.
For sure. I always ask this question before people get up out of here. Do you have any life advice for the people out there?
Yeah, sure. Let me just think on that for a quick sec. Yeah, my life advice, I would say to put God first in everything you do. And you know, that can be really hard to do. I'm still looking at the best way for me to put God first right now. But and read your Bible every day. If you don't understand something in the Bible, ask God to help you to understand it, and find a good Bible teaching church to go to. That's my life advice.
For sure. And I never asked this question before, but I'm gonna start asking these type of questions to everybody before we get up out of here. Would you rather have loyalty or honesty from somebody?
That's a good question. I kind of feel like they're so similar though. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'd say loyalty though.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Because I think that if you got somebody that would stick by you no matter what, eventually, even if they're untruthful at a time, they're gonna tell you that they were. You know what I'm saying? So like they might lie to you, but then a couple months later or whatever, they'll be like, "Hey, I lied about this," and then they'll tell you the truth, and you know they're gonna stick by you. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could be honest, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna say my breast stinks, and you're like, "Hey, bro, your breast stink." So you didn't have to say it like that. You could have gave me a piece of gum or something. You know what I'm saying? So just because somebody's honest with you doesn't mean that they're gonna be honest in a way that's helpful.
Okay, but can you say the same thing about loyal? Can you be loyal to the wrong thing? Can you be loyal to something that's not helpful? If they're honest and they keep it real, you can decide if you want to mess with them or not.
Yeah, you could be loyal to the wrong thing for sure, but when I think of loyalty, I look at it as, I think, kind of in its purest form, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're truly loyal to somebody, if you know you're not right for each other, you'll leave them alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you
That's
know
true.
that something is hurting somebody, you'll take a step away from them. You know.
Sir.
So that's kind of how I see loyalty. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's a dope perspective,
Yeah.
bro, for sure. I definitely appreciate having you on the show, bro. I'm definitely grateful to have you on the show. You're definitely welcome back anytime you want to promote something or even be a co-host or something or whatever,
right,
bro. Keep doing your thing, man, for sure, man. Like I said, definitely appreciate having you on the show, man. You and your wife stopping by and
yeah, of course,
you know, giving me your time, you know, because time is valuable for sure.
Absolutely.
This is West Trending Podcast, and you know what I'm saying. Definitely tune in to Thurston Stevenson, man, for sure, man. Like I say, man, he's a dope dude, makes dope content, man. Definitely get in tune with him, man. You already know it's going down like the Titanic.